and obviously nobody studied for it. So the exam was Wednesday night, and there was about 60 of us in the class, and I had not studied at all for that exam. But I knew two people. One of them was very young, probably like 11 years old. He didn't have a phone, and that was why I knew that he didn't commit sins with his eyes. And also, what he ate, he was a poor kid, so all he ate was whatever the madrasa had to provide. He didn't eat outside. So we knew that no haram entered his stomach. So it's Maghrib. After Maghrib was the exam. The exam hall was set. Our teacher, I believe his name was Ismail, was walking down with the exam papers into the basement. And before I went down, I went to him. His name was Fateh. I said, Fateh, from Malaysia. I said, make a dua. What dua you want? I said, ask for that exam to be delayed next week. He said, okay, may Allah make the exam delayed next week. And I swear by Allah, I walked downstairs into the exam hall. Exam hall was full, and the teacher said, exam will be next week. And one more time, there was another long story about my first Hajj, where I had asked him for dua as well. We've seen the effect ourselves. And we would seek out people who don't sin and who don't ingest sin, so that their du'as get accepted. And we think it's something minor, but it's the fuel of our body. If the fuel in your car, if you're driving a German car, you require premium fuel. You put regular fuel in it, what happens? Who's a car fanatic here? And just starts messing up. This isn't a German body, this is a Muslim body. And it only accepts premium fuel. If you put in the regular cheap grade, the $2.99 burger from McDonald's, then there'll be engine problems. You're not made for that. Your engine isn't built for that. Your engine is built for premium, because Allah's name comes out of it and Allah's name rests inside it. And if you don't take care of this body, then you will pray and do ibadah and everything, but you will not experience the spirituality of it. You won't taste the sweetness of Iman. Because in your body you're filled with ghafla, and ghafla means being unaware of Allah. That's what you're feeding yourself. So when you stand before Allah, you're still unaware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when you have everything that Allah's name is mentioned, that is why, in our culture it's very common to go out to restaurants and eat in restaurants, right? Where we are in South Africa, it wasn't common. And even in very religious homes, it's not common, even though we're not religious, but we go out to eat all the time. But they didn't. And the reason was what? They said that the people cooking food outside, number one, they're cooking it because they have to cook it. So their intention isn't clean. Number two, there's nazar on that food. People come, see it, I can't afford this. Or they eat and they see your meal and they still want to eat that. So you get a lot of stomach aches. When you go to Pakistan, India, Palestine, all these places, you say you got stomach ache from eating the food on the streets. No, it's because there's nazar on it. Not because there's probably dust in it too. But there's a lot of nazar in it too. Number three, over here, they might say, oh, we sanitize our hands, we wash our hands. No. They go to the bathroom and they bring the barakat with them to the kitchen. But in our homes, my mother is cooking food, that food is different. And I don't, everyone says my mom's food is the best, but other people say my mom's food is the best. That's why it's different. I have met, wallahi al-azim, I've met multiple people like this. Like 65-year-old people eating a food and be like, I've never ate a meal like this before. But I recall very vividly, I was in South Africa at one of the Qudus, and there was a guest that came and sat down, and while we're sitting and eating, from discussion it came that, I lived in Jeddah, he was from Jeddah. I mentioned my father's, he said, 20 years ago, I had a meal at your home. He said, until today, I haven't forgotten that meal. Wallahi al-azim. And what does my mom put in? Like whenever I ask my mom to, Mami isme kya dalte? Kuch bhi nahi beta, kuch bhi nahi. Like, how do I make this thing? Kuch bhi nahi hai beta, kuch bhi nahi hai usme to. Alright, how much namak? Ek mutti. Right? How much masala? Do mutti. I'm like, Mom, my mutti and your mutti are two different. Your handful and my handful are two different handfuls. But she always tells me one thing. She says, whenever you make food, make it in the state of wudu. And always do dhikr of Allah while cooking. Bismillah, Bismillah. So our little Sufyan, if my mom, the moment she grabs it, he says, Amijan, Bismillah. Bismillah. It's inculcated into the kids to recite it. Like our kids, when they sit in the car, the first thing they say, Subhanallah sakhara lana. First thing they don't say is that, okay, what show do you put on? They say that right after that. But it's not the first song or this, but it's the dua, the first thing that comes to their mind. You know, one time we were messing with Sufyan. It's like about a year ago, so he's even tinier than he is now. And something happened, someone broke something in the house. We're trying to figure out who did it. So we're like, Sufyan, we know you did it, the cameras, and we were straight camping. We're like, Sufyan, we did it. And the kid is like, I didn't do it. And then like, he just couldn't take it anymore. And he was like, when I go to Jannah and Allah is there, Allah will tell you I didn't do it. It's how you do the upbringing. Because remember, the child that doesn't remember Allah will forget you first. The child, like right now you are children. One day, in a very soon time, you will have your own children. Inshallah. And you will care for them and love for them and hold them to yourself the way your parents once did. You guys aren't kids anymore. You guys are now adults. And now if your children are not in your dua right now, you're already too late. In your dua should be your children. People make fun of me all the time. Are you making dua for your children? You're making dua for the first. They're the people, they're our biggest investment. Everyone will forget you after you pass away besides your children and your students. They'll remember you the longest. And everyone else, all friends will forget you. They'll remember you, they'll say, RIP. Rest in peace. And that's about it. How many janazas nobody goes there is because they don't even know how to pray janazah. Who will lead our janazah? If tomorrow you pass away, who will lead your janazah? The next person available at the masjid? Or do you have that ta'alluq or relationship where they know a shaykh or scholar will be like, no, I have to make it for that janazah. This is one of my own people's janazah. Obviously we should go for everyone's janazah. But again, going back to food, what you ingest inside. Halal and tayyiba. What is pure, what is the best. Eat and ingest that and you'll see a difference in your iman. Just do it for 40 days. Rasulullah said a person sometimes comes and does dua to Allah, raises their hand, and they're disheveled, meaning like they look like a complete poor person. And if a human looks at them, they would have mercy and compassion towards them. But Allah doesn't. And Allah doesn't accept their du'as. And He says, you know why? مَطْعَمُهُ حَرَامٌ وَمَشْرَبُهُ حَرَامٌ وَمَلْبَسُهُ حَرَامٌ. His food is haram, drink is haram, the clothes they wear is haram. When I go somewhere to eat, the first thing I tell them is clean the utensils, clean the grill. I'll tip you more, it doesn't matter. First of all, I avoid eating in restaurants that are not halal, to the best of my ability. I cannot recall the last time I had McDonald's. I cannot recall Whataburger. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. These are not even real food. It's like sin without pleasure. You're eating these things, they don't even taste good. It's not even real. And you're just putting it in your bodies because right now your body can just digest it. But a day will come when your body will no longer be able to digest. And you'll see the weight of it physically on you. And I have classmates that were this thin. Swear to God, now I see them, mashallah. You can see Allah's rizq on them. They grew. After marriage does that to you. But you see that weight of the food on you, the unhealthy food. What you don't see is the weight of the unhealthy haram food on you. The spiritual weight that it has on you. And just the way it takes time to burn fat, it takes time to burn haram food out of your system. The khulafa of the past, you know what they used to do? The oppressive khulafa, they would call in the ulama, and then they would feed them haram. And they would say, now we're content that your du'as will not work against us. Even the oppressors of the past knew this. The power of a dua. We're wondering, why is my dua not getting accepted? It's because you're smashing those cheeseburgers on the side. You don't care if it was cross-contaminated or not. Where did it come from? It's minor to you. And Allah says, إِنَّهُ لَفِسْقٌ. Allah said, this is a big sin. This is haram. And in our culture, when I was growing up, I could count the people who did not eat halal. I could count the people. Now I can count the people who eat halal. It's the other way. It's one generation. In my generation, drinking alcohol and pork was completely out of the picture. In your generation, alcohol has become rampant. Where did it start from? When you allow one haram to come in, it opens the door for all haram. It's not that people didn't smoke in our time, they did. But not as much as in your time. Not as much as imagine your children. If you think that a time won't come when Muslims won't eat pork the way it is, you just keep on pushing the door open until it's just wide open and it can't be shut. I myself, with my own eyes, have sat at a meal with a Hafiz al-Quran at IHOP years ago. And I ordered something, he ordered something, he didn't even bother to tell them that there's a side of bacon and I don't want the bacon. The bacon came, he just grabbed the bacon, put it to the side and continued eating. It was normal for him. So embed qualities inside yourself, make it your principle. Don't worry about if someone else gets offended or not. If I go to anyone's home or anyone brings me something, that's the first question I ask, is it zabiha? So yes, alhamdulillah, I'll take it. So I say, what if they get offended? So what if Allah gets offended? And the one who eats zabiha doesn't get offended because they understand the struggle. And the one who doesn't, they get offended. Anyway, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the ability to eat what is right, what is clean, what is righteous, and feed our souls with spiritually halal food. Assalamu alaikum.